Hey everyone, my name's Coley, and welcome back to another episode of The Green Room. In this video, I want to talk about expectations, because it's something that has been in my mind a lot lately, and, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? I'm unsure. See, I'm always the kind of guy to dream up things in his head, and sort of have like an image on what something might be like. If I'm going on vacation, I imagine what the time would be like so I can anticipate and get excited for the moment when it arrives. If I'm making a video on YouTube, I already foresee the vibe that the video will have to help me when I'm in the editing or production of that project. It can be super useful to set expectations, and it can also assure a certain level of quality. But sometimes this can be a bad thing. For example, creation is in some aspects a chain of trial and error until you get something you're satisfied with, and that result could be completely different than your expectation. Many times, I find it difficult to learn something because the expectation I had for learning something doesn't match what it was actually like. It's super discouraging not to be meeting your benchmarks or things not going according to plan. It's super frustrating. And sometimes expectations bring you more grief than if you didn't have any expectations at all. And enough discouragement from the expectations brings the ultimate failure of giving up. And lately, I feel like I am falling into this trap, but I haven't fallen in yet. I set certain expectations for myself, and sometimes they're met, and other times they are not. So I wondered for a long time if I should go into a situation with any expectations, or maybe I should have no expectations at all. I am the worst at making plans because I usually expect too much of myself and give myself too much to do in a given time. Like, for example, I wanted my Wii Fit video to take 2 months to make, and instead it took 4. I expected myself to write and edit the video faster than what ended up happening in reality. It's quite a roller coaster making that Wii Fit video, but this is every video I've ever done too. You get really big highs when things go your way, but you also reach really big lows when there is more friction than you intended. And making videos is where I've seen this the most impactfully, but I mean, I felt this with school, with jobs, with anything. Hell, even making this video, I weirdly have an expectation of what I want this video to be. You know, I want it to be genuine, but I don't want it to be too deeply personal for the sake of my privacy. I want the footage to look good, but not lose the quality and feel of, what Wii gameplay is like. I want me biking around the island to add to the vibe and the words that I have to say, but I don't want it to be distracting to you, the viewer. And this is all kind of silly because with this channel, I made this channel with the intent on, this being a space where I have the freedom to not worry about that kind of stuff. See, I mean, I've thought a lot about expectations, and some people say it's good, and some people say it's bad. You can think whatever works best for you, because honestly, that's probably the real universal answer here. There's just always going to be that gray area, and what works best for me is not what's going to work best for you. But here's what I think I'm going to try and do with my expectations. I want to try to set expectations for myself, but not marry them. And what I mean is, I want to be more malleable to situations while also being prepared at least somewhat for the future. If I am so attached to the expectations and ideas that I have, then I will only get frustrated when it may not fully work out, and maybe I'll miss completely different opportunities that would have actually benefited me. If you are so dead set on everything going the way that you want, then you will never have anything. You'll just end up with nothing. But you still can get what you want without your expectations being completely met. Let me try and unpack this idea a little bit. I think some of the greatest people in the world, and some of my personal heroes, got to be who they are and achieve so much because they are incredibly malleable to most situations. If they use their expectations as a prep for what's to come and then adapt to what actually happens, then they can go for what they really just want in the end. An example of this is how people get healthy. It's good to expect and plan out your diet, your workout routine, whatever you need to do. But if you're married to your expectations and then you don't reach the weight that you want or the goal that you set, what do people usually do when this happens? They just stop and they give up. But if you're more malleable, being content with what you've done so far, understanding it's not going the way that you want, and maybe you think about it differently, you try different strategies, you ask different questions, then maybe, probably, you'll eventually get healthier and you'll get what you want in the end. The same thing can happen with a relationship too. You know, if you're hooked on this grand expectation of what an ideal partner would look like, or, you know, what a relationship would be like with someone in particular, but then you may deny or defy other chances at great relationships by trying to find like the one because your expectations are too high or like you're too set in stone with them. But you still want some expectations so that you can avoid dating somebody you already know wouldn't work out or, you know, whatever. And sometimes you don't even really know what you want until you're in the middle of doing something. This happens to people all the time in college. They go for a degree and then they realize they want to do something different. And sometimes the only way you could find out is just by saying, fuck it, we ball, and you just dive right in. A great quote that can describe the situation goes like this: life is whatever happens to you while you're busy making other plans. I first heard it in a John Lennon song called Beautiful Boy, but it was originally from a Reader's Digest article by Alan Saunders. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name right. Anyway, this song is kind of haunting in retrospect though, because this song, it's about John's son, Sean Lennon. And John is like, oh boy, I can't wait to guide him into life as a father and be there for him. But, you know, John Lennon was assassinated right after this song was released. He never got to see his son come of age. And it seems like the aforementioned quote was only proven more true with his unpredictable death. But yada yada, I could go on about that all day. The point is, in life, we can get preoccupied with certain things and we can lose sight of the bigger picture. And while I hope none of you are about to get hunted down by a gunman, sometimes life can just be like a Scooby-Doo trap where you're walking down a hallway and you know where you want to go, but then there's just like a trap door that opens up and you end up going in a completely different place than you thought you would. But just because you get off course doesn't mean you can't reach your destination. Expectations can help get you started and get you thinking, but I want to start accepting more of what life offers me and conform to the situation that I end up in. I want to start enjoying the process as much as I enjoy thinking about the final result. Expectations help you begin, but be more comfortable with the changes you'll learn along the way so that you can finish something you've started. And when you do that, that'll be beautiful. I feel like this is another one of those topics that may change as I get older or different life experiences happen to me, but it's a lot to unpack. It's a lot about your thought process. And so, who knows? I may return to this topic in the future, but for now, that's all I really want to say about it. So, yeah. Have a good one.